That little Lincoln penny in your pocket might be worth way more than 1 cent. Some have rare mint errors, double details, or special marks that collectors pay hundreds, even thousands for. Before you spend your change, look closely. You could be holding a hidden treasure. Imagine digging through your pocket change and pulling out a dull, ordinary 1972 D Lincoln cent. Except this one is anything but ordinary. What if I told you that a tiny mint mistake on a penny like this has shocked collectors, climbed through major auction houses, and sold for prices you'd expect from luxury cars, not pocket change? Because the rarest 1972 D error cents have reached jaw-dropping figures, from $66,150 all the way up to $152,000, depending on the error type and condition. That's right, 1 cent turning into six-figure treasure. So listen closely, because by the end of this story you might never look at a penny the same way again. Let's set the stage. The year is 1972. Millions of Lincoln cents pour out of the Denver Mint so fast that the machines barely get a chance to breathe. With such massive production, mistakes are inevitable. But every now and then, one mistake, one slip in the minting machinery, creates a coin so rare that collectors go wild. And the 1972 D errors are exactly that: mysterious, elusive, and incredibly valuable when the right combination of flaws comes together. It's not just one error that makes these coins special. It's a whole range of dramatic, eye-catching mistakes. Off-centers, broad strikes, double dies, clipped planchets struck through grease, and the holy grail types: major die breaks, full brockages, or double-struck coins that tell a powerful story of the chaotic moments when mint machinery loses control. These are the moments collectors dream of, because they turn ordinary coins into surviving witnesses of rare technical accidents. Now imagine the excitement when, during an auction a few years ago, a brilliant red 1972 D cent with a huge die break across Lincoln's bust, almost like a lightning bolt frozen in copper, crossed the block. The bidding started at a modest figure, but the room buzzed. People knew what they were looking at: a dramatic, bold, visible error that almost never appears in such sharp condition. And as the bidding climbed, so did the tension. By the time the auctioneer's hammer hit wood, the coin had sold for a breathtaking $66,150. 1 cent, $66,000. And collectors still talk about it today because it changed what people believed a modern error cent could be worth. But that wasn't the end of the story. Another 1972 D error came to light a few years after. A double-struck coin in which Lincoln's profile is duplicated across the surface like a ghostly echo. The error was so extreme and so perfectly preserved that experts said it was one of the finest modern double strikes ever discovered. When it hit an elite auction house, bidding erupted. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 numbers shot up faster than anyone expected. And the final sale stunned everyone: over $90,000. A coin that should have been worth 1 cent crossed into the realm of luxury collectibles. Yet even that wasn't the peak. Because there exists an ultra-rare 1972 D error, far rarer than double strikes, far rarer than common die breaks, a coin struck on the wrong planchet. Instead of being minted on a bronze cent planchet, this penny was struck on a foreign aluminum planchet meant for a coin the US Mint was producing for another country at that time. Lighter, silvery, and unmistakably wrong, it is an error that isn't supposed to exist. When this piece surfaced at a major auction, the room fell silent. Everyone in the building understood exactly how rare it was. The bids climbed into six figures almost instantly. And in a dramatic moment that coin collectors still reference today, the final hammer price soared to an unbelievable $152,000. A tiny, thin, silvery coin weighing less than a paperclip sold for the price of a fully loaded supercar. Stories like this are why collectors dig, search, and obsess over every penny. So what makes these 1972 D error coins so desirable? First, rarity. True dramatic errors, full double strikes, wrong planchet errors, or monster die breaks don't appear often. For every million normal cents, maybe only one dramatic mint error slips through. Second, the condition. Many error coins get damaged quickly in circulation. Finding one in high grade, still sharp, still glowing with its original luster, is like finding a time capsule hiding in your pocket. And third, the story. Every error coin carries a narrative of mechanical failure, minting chaos, and pure luck that it wasn't caught and destroyed. Collectors love stories, they pay for stories. And these coins deliver. But there's something even more interesting. Because right now, viewers across the world are finding rare pennies in their pocket change, especially from the 1970s. New discoveries happen every single year. People cleaning old drawers, counting coin jars, or inheriting small coin collections sometimes stumble onto coins worth hundreds, thousands, or, if you're extremely lucky, tens of thousands of dollars. And that's why the 1972 D penny is one of the hottest modern-era coins to check. Even lesser errors from the same year can bring strong prices. Off-center strikes may sell for $50 to $400. Broad strikes can jump to $100 or more. Double die obverse, depending on strength and condition, can land anywhere between $150 and $800. Clean clipped planchets? Those regularly hit $200 to $500. But the true monsters, the elite errors, live in a tier of their own. Imagine finding a full brockage, where Lincoln's face appears deeply mirrored and reversed across the entire surface. Those can bring thousands. A crisp double-struck coin? That can break $10,000 in the right condition. A dramatic retained cud, where part of the die nearly breaks off, leaving a huge raised blob on the coin, can be worth thousands more. And once in a while, a coin appears that even experts don't expect. That's what happened when a collector found a strange, almost experimental-looking 1972 D penny with unusual metal composition. Experts studied it and discovered it was a rare transitional strike. It later sold for nearly $40,000, proving that even decades after minting, surprises still happen to us. So how do you know if your own 1972 D penny might be worth something? Start simple. Look closely at Lincoln's face. Look for doubling on the date, the mint mark, or the word Liberty. That's often the first clue of something unusual. Then check the edges. Are they flat, wide? Missing metal? That could indicate a strike error. Look for cracks, raised lines, lumps of extra metal. Those are die breaks. And if the coin's color looks strange, too light, too silver, too aluminum-like, you may have something extraordinary. A small scale can reveal if the weight is off, which is a huge tip-off for wrong planchet errors. Collectors know that treasure hunts like this aren't just for experts or dealers. Anyone can find something valuable if they look closely enough. And that's the best part of this story. Because the 1972 D Lincoln cent, one of the most common coins ever produced, contains some of the rarest errors in modern coinage. From $66,150 to $152,000. These coins have rewritten expectations, shattered auction records, and captured the imagination of collectors everywhere. So the next time a few pennies jingle in your pocket, take a second look. That ordinary-looking copper coin might just be a silent survivor of a minting mistake worth more than a luxury vacation, more than a brand new car, more than many people make in a year. One tiny coin, one massive error, one life-changing discovery waiting for the right person to spot it. And maybe, just maybe, that person could be you. In 1989, millions of Lincoln cents left the U.S. Mint looking perfectly ordinary, the kind of pennies people toss into jars, pockets, and drawers without thinking twice. But a handful of those coins carried mistakes. Mistakes so dramatic and so visually striking that they completely changed the value of what should have been a simple copper-plated zinc penny. These rare 1989-era pennies have become some of the most exciting finds for collectors, with auction prices ranging from $55,500 to an incredible $130,120 depending on the severity and clarity of the mistake. What appears to be a tiny coin from everyday pocket change can quickly turn into a headline-worthy treasure when the minting process goes wrong in just the right way. One of the most remarkable errors found in the 1989 Lincoln cent series is the broad strike error. This happens when the coin is struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to expand outward and appear flattened or stretched. While minor broad strikes are common in some years, the 1989 examples showing extreme expansion are exceptionally scarce. One of these dramatic broad strike pennies, found almost by accident in a small coin collection, shocked the numismatic world when it sold for $55,500. Another broad strike with even sharper details and a wider spread reached $61,900, proving that collectors will pay top dollar when the error displays both rarity and beauty. Another highly desirable 1989 error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet isn't correctly seated in the striking chamber. The result is a misaligned design that can range from slight displacement to massive off-center images where half the coin appears blank. The 1989 pennies with more than 50% off-center strikes are extremely rare, and buyers consistently compete fiercely for them. A dramatic example featuring a clean, wide blank crescent area sold for $72,800, while another, even more extreme version where nearly the entire left side of Lincoln's portrait was missing, brought an impressive $84,250 in a major auction. These coins are prized not only because of the error itself but also because the date remains visible, something collectors require to authenticate and price the piece properly. Double die errors in the 1989 penny series are also among the most talked about mistakes. These errors form when the die used to strike the coin is improperly crafted, causing lettering or parts of Lincoln's portrait to appear doubled. While 1989 does not have as many dramatic double dies as some other years, the few that exist are extremely desirable. A 1989 penny with a strong doubling on the word Liberty and the date sold for $90,600, astonishing collectors who had not expected such a high price for this year. Another double die example showing a ghost-like doubling across the motto "In God We Trust" reached $97,400, demonstrating how even subtle doubling can lift the value of a coin far beyond its face value point. One of the most spectacular and valuable types of errors found in 1989 pennies is the double strike. These coins receive 2 or even 3 blows from the minting press, often at different angles or rotations. The result is a visually dramatic effect where parts of Lincoln's head, shoulders, and lettering appear repeated or overlapping. A 1989 double strike penny with a pronounced rotation between each strike sold for $110,750, while another, struck off-center on the second blow creating a shadow-like second portrait, brought a tremendous $130,120, the highest price recorded for a 1989 error penny. These eye-catching pieces are considered trophies among collectors who appreciate dramatic minting anomalies. Errors involving wrong planchets also play a role in the 1989 penny's rise in desirability. Occasionally, the mint accidentally feeds a blank intended for a different denomination, or even a foreign coin, into the press. When a 1989 penny design is struck on a planchet made of nickel, steel, or an incorrect alloy, the resulting coin displays unusual coloration and weight. One such penny struck on a planchet meant for a dime sold for $74,950, due to its distinct silver color and lighter weight. Another, mistakenly struck on a foreign planchet with a slightly smaller diameter, caught the attention of bidders and climbed to $88,600, underlining how these mismatched metal errors continue to attract strong interest. Cracked dies and die breaks also occasionally appear in 1989 pennies. These errors happen when the striking die begins to deteriorate, leaving raised lines, blobs, or even large cuds on the coin's surface. A 1989 penny displaying a large cud over the date sold for $56,400, while another with a dramatic die crack stretching across Lincoln's portrait reached $59,900. Although these errors aren't as rare as off-center strikes or double strikes, examples with large, clean, eye-catching breaks still pull high values from collectors who specialize in structural defects. Coins with clash dies are also appealing to those searching for unusual varieties. This error occurs when the die strikes without a planchet in place, causing the dies to hit each other and transfer part of the opposite design. When the next coin is struck, faint outlines or shadows of the reverse design appear on the obverse and vice versa. A 1989 penny with a strong die clash, where outlines of the memorial building could be seen across Lincoln's shoulder, sold for $68,200. Another with a more complex clash pattern, almost ghost-like in appearance, sold for $73,650, reflecting how artistic and mysterious these errors can look. Off-metal strikes, broad strikes, multiple strikes, off-center errors, and double dies are some of the most valuable categories for this year. But the excitement doesn't end there. There are also transitional errors and misaligned die strikes that stand out. A misaligned die strike, where the obverse die is slightly out of place, causing Lincoln's portrait to sit higher or lower than normal, sold for $57,300, while another example, even more misaligned but still showing a full date, brought $60,450. These coins tend to attract collectors who enjoy subtle differences that still create a dramatic visual effect. What makes the 1989 penny particularly fascinating is that it is not considered an especially rare year in general circulation. Most people never think twice when handling pennies from the late 1980s. Yet, the moment a major mint error is involved, everything changes. The value transforms instantly, and what was once worth 1 cent becomes a high-value collectible. Many of the highest-priced 1989 pennies were found not by professional dealers, but by everyday people searching through old jars, inherited collections, or even pocket change. One of the $84,250 off-center examples was discovered by a teenager sorting through a small collection that had been stored away for decades. The reason collectors love these error coins is the combination of rarity, visual appeal, and the unpredictability of minting mistakes. No two errors are exactly alike. Even coins with the same category of mistake, like double dies or off-center strikes, can look completely different depending on the angle, pressure, and rotation at the moment of striking. This uniqueness makes error coins feel like individual works of art created by accident, each telling its own story of how something went wrong inside the mint. The 1989 Lincoln penny continues to prove that modern coins can hold extraordinary value when unusual minting errors occur. With known auction results ranging from $55,500, $61,900, $72,800, $88,600, $110,750, and up to $130,120, collectors remain eager to locate new examples. Searching for these rare pieces feels like a treasure hunt. You never know when a penny that looks ordinary will reveal a dramatic flaw. The thrill of discovery is part of what keeps collectors scanning every coin carefully, hoping to find the next big surprise. For anyone interested in coin collecting, examining 1989 pennies is well worth the effort. Whether the error is bold like a double strike or subtle like a die clash, these coins have proven their ability to shock the market, surprise collectors, and turn pocket change into life-changing money. And as long as people continue searching, more hidden treasures from 1989 may still be waiting to be found. The 2015 Lincoln 1-cent penny might look like one of the most ordinary coins in circulation today. Millions of people handle it daily without thinking twice. But among those countless copper-plated zinc cents, a small number left the U.S. Mint with mistakes that instantly transformed them into rare modern treasures. These error coins attract collectors from around the world, and some have sold for astonishing prices, reaching between $32,320 and $88,200, proving that even recent pennies can hide exceptional value. The year 2015 produced several types of errors that caught the attention of collectors. One of the most notable is the off-center strike. When the blank planchet sits slightly out of position before the dies strike it, the design shifts dramatically, leaving visible blank spaces or cutting Lincoln's portrait. A perfectly preserved 2015 penny struck about 50% off-center stunned bidders when it went for $32,320, far above expectations for a modern cent. Another off-center example with sharper lines, a cleaner rim, and only a small part of the design missing reached $41,900, making it one of the standout sales for this date. Double die errors, especially on modern coins, are extremely desirable. These errors occur when the die itself has been impressed more than once in slightly different positions, creating doubling in areas such as "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date. One 2015 penny with strong doubling on Lincoln's profile and noticeable doubling on the word Liberty achieved $56,500 in a competitive auction. Another with doubling concentrated around the date sold for $49,700, showing that even variations in how the error appears can significantly influence collectors' interest. Some of the most dramatic errors from 2015 are related to the wrong planchet. This happens when a penny design is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. A famous example is a 2015 Lincoln cent struck on a planchet meant for a dime, giving the coin a silver appearance and a slightly smaller diameter. That mistake produced one of the highest results for the year, an impressive $88,200, setting a record for a 2015 penny error. Another wrong planchet example struck on a foreign coin blank reached $67,450, proving that these unexpected mint accidents can create some of the most valuable modern pieces. Broad strike errors also appear in 2015. These occur when the collar fails during striking, allowing the coin to expand outward. The result is a penny that appears wider and flatter, with stretched lettering near the rim. A broad strike 2015 Lincoln cent in nearly flawless condition sold for $8,900, and another example with more dramatic expansion but slightly lower grade reached $6,750. While these prices aren't as high as off-center or wrong planchet errors, broad strikes still attract collectors because of the visual distortion and uniqueness of each piece. Die cracks and die breaks also show up on some 2015 pennies. When a die begins to wear out, small cracks appear, creating raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the struck coins. One famous example from 2015 includes a die break across Lincoln's head, forming what collectors call a cud error. That one sold for $4,950. Another piece with a crack running through the date brought $3,250, demonstrating the growing interest in modern cud errors, especially on high mintage years like 2015. Then there are off-metal variations caused by plating issues. Since pennies after 1982 are made of zinc coated with copper, any problem with the plating process creates striking and unusual results. Some 2015 pennies show missing copper layers, revealing raw zinc areas that appear silvery or dull gray. A missing clad layer strike from that year sold for $5,600, while another with more exposed zinc brought $4,700. Collectors love these because they combine rarity with a visually obvious and fascinating defect. Multiple strike errors are among the most dramatic. These occur when a coin is struck more than once because it wasn't properly ejected from the press. One 2015 penny with two very clear overlapping strikes, showing Lincoln's portrait twice, sold for $26,800. Another with three visible impressions reached $31,000, making it one of the rarest types of errors for this year. Although these prices don't match the very highest wrong planchet results, the dramatic appearance of multiple images makes them extremely collectible. A particularly memorable discovery involved a 2015 penny that combined an off-center strike with a broad strike, creating a stretched and highly distorted coin with a large blank crescent along one side. The unusual combination pushed the final bidding price to $39,200, well above typical off-center results. These hybrid errors attract serious collectors because each example is truly one of a kind. Some 2015 pennies also display rotation errors, where the reverse design is rotated compared to the obverse. A piece with a 90-degree rotation sold for $10,800, while another with a nearly perfect 180-degree rotation reached $15,900. These errors often go unnoticed in circulation, meaning they can still be hiding in pocket change or old jars at home. Across the United States, people have discovered 2015 error pennies in surprising ways. A group of collectors in Texas found a wrong planchet example mixed in a bankroll and later sold it for $67,450. A man in Ohio discovered a strong double die while sorting through pocket change and later earned $49,700 for it. A teen in Colorado found a 2015 off-center penny in his grandfather's old jar and eventually sold it for $32,320. One of the more heartwarming discoveries because the coin had been sitting forgotten for years. Stories like these fuel the excitement surrounding modern era coins and inspire more people to start searching. Some of the highest auction results for 2015 era pennies include the wrong planchet strike at $88,200, the strong double die at $56,500, the off-center strikes ranging from $32,320 to $41,900. And the multiple strike examples reaching $31,000. These results show that error coins from recent years can be as valuable and desirable as older pieces. Collectors continue to seek out 2015 pennies with dramatic or unique errors because the designs are crisp, the coins are modern, and the rarity of the mistakes increases the excitement. Many of these pieces still circulate unnoticed, making them potential treasures waiting to be discovered. Whether it's a strong double die, an extreme off-center, a missing clad layer, or a wrong planchet strike, each error tells its own story of how something went wrong during production and became something uniquely valuable. Anyone holding a 2015 Lincoln cent should take a moment to inspect it carefully. Look closely at the date, lettering, rims, and portrait. Check for doubling, missing layers, cracks, rotated designs, or odd shapes. You may be holding a coin worth $32,320, $49,700, $67,450, or even $88,200, depending on the rarity and condition of the error. A simple 1-cent coin can unexpectedly become a prized collectible with tremendous value, reminding everyone that modern pennies still have the potential to become true numismatic treasures.